getting closer to the Social Recruiting Summit, and wanted to take some time to say thank you to our sponsors, without whom the event would not be possible, it wouldn't be happening. So today I'm here with Jeff Berger, the CEO of KODA, who is generous enough to be one of the sponsors of the event, and we are going to talk a little bit about social recruiting. So to start us off, Jeff, can you tell me a little bit about KODA and what it is that you do?
Well, David, obviously we're excited to be sponsoring the summit, so thanks again for giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit about KODA and how it's involved with social recruiting. KODA is really about changing the way that people with roughly 0 to 5 years of professional experience connect with companies to find jobs. We like to say it's more professional than Facebook, but really more personal than LinkedIn, allowing both sides of the hiring equation to get to know each other.
KODA's take on social recruiting seems pretty unique because you've designed your own product. How do you define social recruiting?
David, I know there's been a lot of discussion about, what is the definition of social recruiting. I think really it comes down to there's two general beliefs. I think there's a camp of sorts that believes it's about using Twitter and Facebook and real social networks to more efficiently recruit talent. To me, those are more just advanced sourcing techniques. I look at social recruiting as taking the lessons of those social networks and building a new job recruiting platform. So really taking what's the relationship-oriented process that makes those social networks like Facebook successful and bringing it to job recruiting. And as examples of that, obviously I believe KODA is one that does it. I think obviously LinkedIn does. The difference between those two is LinkedIn, is obviously for people with more experience, the average user being about 41. KODA is really for people at that 0 to 5 years, that entry to mid-level range. But really building something based on those social networks, but putting it in the job recruiting context.
How has the economic downturn changed recruiting?
Someone probably more senior than myself should give the analysis on a national level. I will speak about what we've seen here at KODA because I do think it is relevant. Our beta process only went live in the middle of the summer, and really right from the beginning we had a lot of interest from companies, and we continue, who say, we hear a lot about social recruiting, using social networks to recruit talent. We're reevaluating our budgets moving forward, and is this a product that we want to incorporate in the future? And it's really been great for us because we're getting these wonderful companies who sign up early, able to give us really good feedback. We continue to make improvements to the product on a daily basis, which obviously makes our job seekers happy as well. And really, so you do sense that companies are kind of rethinking their approach to recruiting. JobBite recently had a survey out that I believe said about 60% of companies plan to spend less on job boards this year, and about 75% plan to spend more on social networks, social recruiting platforms. So the trend is definitely shifting in this direction, and obviously the reason we're all for the Social Recruiting Summit is because recruiters and companies, I think, are taking notice of this, and it's something that's important as we move forward.
What characteristics of KODA make it an inherently social space?
KODA uses the lessons learned from social media and job boards to reshape online recruiting. Today's social networks have millions of people, but they're really untethered and simply are not recruiting vehicles that are going to replace job boards. That said, the reality is that transactional recruiting via job boards is just too costly and impersonal. KODA is a community where people and companies can simply be themselves and get to know one another.
Thanks again, Jeff, for taking the time to talk with us and for your support of the Social Recruiting Summit. I'll see you on November 16th.